With most applications for compensation paid out by now, the bankruptcy court's final dismissal of the retirement fund's Chapter 11 petition is expected to be entered within the next few days. When that happens, Governor Fitial's emergency order on the fund is expected to take effect. In a phone interview with in-house fund counsel Carolyn Kern, she says she reads the governor's order to mean that as soon as dismissal is entered, the governor steps in to immediately take over functions and duties of the Board of Trustees. The board, meanwhile, will be dissolved. Within 60 days from that point, the fund's employees, records, operations, and assets will be transferred to the Department of Finance. Asked if the fund might challenge the legality of the executive order, Kern says there is no intent to do so, in part because there would be questions of the fund's standing and ability to sue the central government. While the fund itself may not have standing to challenge the emergency order, fund beneficiaries might, and attorneys for retirees in ongoing federal litigation say they intend to do just that.
We view Governor Fitial's emergency order as wholly groundless and unlawful on its face.
That's attorney Bruce Jorgensen in a phone interview from Honolulu, who, along with co-counsel Robert Hatch, confirmed today they intend to immediately file for an injunction if and when the governor's executive order takes effect. The injunction would seek to maintain the status quo in the fund's operations and ensure that fund assets remain separate and distinct from those of the central government. Jorgensen.
The retirees' assets are not owned, possessed, and should not be controlled by the NMIRF administration.
Jorgensen and Hatch represent Roe and Doe in a federal lawsuit to collect on the fund's $317 million judgment against the government. According to the attorneys, in issuing the executive order to reorganize the fund, the governor assumes authority that he just doesn't have. Hatch.
The purported legal basis for the executive order is a declaration of an emergency, and emergencies are defined by statute. They're defined by statute in accordance with the Constitution in a way that does not leave room for a declaration of emergency in a situation that was caused by the actions of the government itself.
In other words, Jorgensen says, the emergency is contrived.